regurgitated into that influencer's spin on things.
Yeah.
My thing is, like, if people are hearing the same thing on sales calls, what do you think they're thinking?
Oh, this guy again.
Yeah, they're thinking, like, I've heard this before. I know where this is going, and sales resistance is spiked. So I like to be a lot different on sales calls.
I agree. I could tell if it's scripted. Like, if I could tell they're reading off something, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode. All right, guys, we're going to talk high ticket sales today. It's a hot topic right now. Brady McCarty, thanks for coming on, my man.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Of course. How'd you get into this world of high ticket?
Man, long story. I'll keep short, but I was in the corporate world for 15 years. Decided there was something else better, bigger ticket thing I could do, more lives impacted. So I transitioned out about 7-8 years ago into the high ticket world.
Nice.
High ticket coaching, yeah.
What were you doing in the corporate world?
I was managing a team of probably 23, 24 reps of pest control sales, of all things. Yeah, I was doing a lot of pest control sales, door-to-door type of stuff. The management side was not what I wanted, so I transitioned out into some coaching stuff.
That doesn't sound like the funnest job.
No, not at all, dude. It's just a glorified babysitting position in the corporate world.
Pest control.
Yeah.
I actually have that out here because we get scorpions.
Yeah.
So I get a guy every month that sprays our backyard and
Yeah, it was fun though. Like the fun part was you'd have pre-qualified people on your list, and like you'd go meet with them out at the house and just selling the service. It was almost like a order taking situation. It wasn't a lot of sales.
Got it. So you were doing that, you didn't like it, and then did you come across a video or a coach or something?
No, funny enough, one of the guys I terminated, I had access to their emails. So one of their emails I got was something about high ticket sales. I'm like, what is this stuff? So I jumped into his email, started researching this high ticket thing, and then went down this whole rabbit hole of high ticket sales and wound up quitting the corporate world probably 2 years later.
Wow.
To jump into that process. Yeah.
You might have to thank this guy.
Yeah. I need to call him back.
Hey, I fired you, but I checked out your email and saw something, and now I'm making millions off it.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What was the email about? Just like coaching it or something?
Yeah, it was something about coach. I can't remember exactly. Something about coaching in the fitness world on how to lose weight, and they had a high ticket program of $2,000 some odd dollars. And in my mind, I'm like, there's no way someone would buy a $2,000 program to lose weight.
Yeah.
So I started looking into it more, and
Wow. Here
we are.
So when you say high ticket, what ballpark we talking pricing wise?
Well, with me, like with what I train on, I train a lot of sales reps, and ideally, I like to train people 2, 3, 5,000 range, 2 to 5,000 range, and then upwards of $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 programs that they're selling.
Damn.
Yeah.
You could get that expensive?
Yeah, there's some that are $100,000, $200,000. There's one that's $1 million program.
What?
Yeah,
what is he
nuts,
selling
dude.
for $1 million?
It's a whole. It's like how men need to get more authoritative in the social circle. So it's a
$1 million
name.
for that.
It's a name that a lot of people know. That he has a whole program around it.
I probably know
it gets
him.
high. Yeah.
Damn. I mean, if you can't get laid and you got billions of dollars rolling around, I guess why
At
not?
least you got that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They better be hands on for $1 million though. They better be like next to you and being your wingman and shit.
Yeah. It's up there, dude. It's up there, but it's a whole different process on selling. I like the $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 price points.
Yeah.
A lot of emotional connections that can be made. That's what I teach. Yeah.
And are you training people in person or over the phone or Zoom or?
All Zoom. So my specialty is I teach people a different process on emotionally connecting with people on sales calls. So it could be in person, but my ideal client is Zoom calls, phone calls, that type of thing. If you can be different and come across different than a lot of sales trainers teach, then you're put in a different bucket.
Got it.
On the sales call, yeah.
So are you trying to establish an emotional connection within the first sentence with the client?
Yeah, no. Look, dude, I've been through any sales name you can throw at me. I've been through their program. And there's some really good ones out there. I think you had one the other day on your podcast. Like, I think it was Jeremy. Yeah, amazing guy. But there's a lot of people out there outside of him that just teach the same like the same it's the same stuff.
It's repackaged.
Dude, it's regurgitated into that influencer's spin on things.
Yeah.
My thing is, like, if people are hearing the same thing on sales calls, what do you think they're thinking?
Oh, this guy again.
Yeah, they're thinking like, I've heard this before. I know where this is going, and sales resistance is spiked. So I like to be a lot different on sales calls.
I agree. I
Yeah.
could tell if it's scripted. Like if I could tell they're reading off something, I don't like it.
Yeah. And there was one that I was on a sales call with. It was some hypnosis that was selling a hypnosis program on getting the right mindset and stuff like that. I hopped on the call with him and literally heard his papers flipping to the next page, to the next
Bro.
page. And I'm like, dude, come on,
That's
man.
so bad.
Yeah.
I actually sign up for like good Facebook ads I see and walk through their sales process just to study it.
You do what again?
Like if I get a Facebook ad and
Okay.
like they're trying to sell something, I'll sign up just to see their sales process and
Yep.
see if I can learn anything.
Oh, massive.
Yeah, like I
massive
did that for
benefit on
Cole
that.
Gordon, did it for a couple others, Jeremy's, just to see their funnel and everything. You learn a lot.
You learn a ton. And if you even go one step further and jump on like the sales call and see if it's congruent to their sales message on their funnels and stuff like that, you would learn a ton.
I jumped on and it wasn't congruent on some of them.
Yeah.
So that kind of threw me off because
Yeah.
it's like we only pay if you achieve results, and then you jump on the call and they sell you.
Yeah, and that's Sean, that's the problem with a lot of people, dude, is they hop on these calls and the salesperson is trying to shove their product down their throat without keeping in mind that that person you're talking to has some sort of a vision, and everyone buys into a vision, no one buys into a program.
Yeah.
So if you can sell the vision and be on the same page with them as the vision, everything changes.
Agreed.
Everything.
What do you think of Jordan Belford's straight line method? That was one of the first courses I ever took.
I think it's real direct. It's real secretly high pressure, and I'm not about high pressure at all. I hate high pressure. Most of my sales have come from very low pressure. The 60 million plus I've done online, all low pressure.
Wow.
No. If this is the right fit for you at the end of the call, do you feel like this is going to be something that would work for you? Is there any other decision maker that needs to be on the call with you at the end of this call? Like all those things raise the sales pressure. None of that happens on mine or my sales trainings. The biggest thing I tell people is almost like this, like just chill, like you're having a beer with a friend, like just be casual on the call.
Wow.
Yes, there's strategies and psychological things you can do, but
Yeah.
just be human.
This is good advice, man. This is taking me aback, honestly. I thought we were going to talk like sales techniques and everything, but
No.
this is cool, dude, to be honest.
Yeah, no, man. Like all those tactics of, and this is why I created the whole sales training I've done, is all the tactics of, if this happens, then this needs to happen. And people might not be realizing they're even teaching this, but if X happens, then Y needs to happen. If they say this, here's your response. All that stuff is outdated, and everyone is saying the same thing on sales calls.
For real.
It's just causing massive sales resistance.
Yeah. What do you think of guys that sell from stage and they really play into people's emotions and, make them spend money on the spot?
I think that's really good if it's for a greater cause. People that use emotions for the bad, I think those are the ones that rub me wrong, just me personally. If you're using emotions for the good, like it's not manipulating someone into buying something using their emotions, but you're using their emotions because this thing is going to help them. That
Right.
but I've been to events where they use the emotions for the bad. Like
Oh,
this
yeah.
program will not fit them, but their emotions got the best of them.
I've seen it too.
Yeah.
And they'll make like $500,000.
Oh,
but
I've
it's
enrolled
like,
into it. I've
Yeah, but
done
then
that.
the chargebacks are like 40%.
That's the problem with high pressure,
Yeah.
or wrong emotions.
Yeah. So what kind of, are you trying to put the client in an emotional state, or are you just trying to kind of relate emotionally?
It's all about, so I'm huge on empowerment. Like if you can make someone feel empowered on a sales call, it trumps anything else that you can possibly do. Yes, if you throw in there like behavioral science and linguistics and NLP and nonverbal communication, all that stuff that I teach, that works well. But if you can make someone feel empowered, that trumps everything else. So I'm big on leaning into empowerment, and people feel empowered when you hear them. People need to feel felt on the call. Yeah.
So what are some questions that can make people feel empowered, do you think?
Not so much questions, but understanding someone. If someone has some sort of a vision, and let me back up. Me as a salesperson, before I figured this process out, I used to want to give all the aha moments because I'm a salesperson. Let me give you all these golden nuggets, like
Yeah.
make you go, oh, that's so cool. Like
Are you interested in coming on the Digital Social Hour podcast as a guest? Well, click the application link below in the description of this video. We are always looking for cool stories, cool entrepreneurs to talk to about business and life. Click the application link below, and here's the episode, guys.
If you flip that script a little bit and the salesperson has the aha moment, then you're leaning into their empowerment. So if you were to tell me something, Sean, you're like, yeah, I really want to do X, Y, Z. Like, oh, that is so cool. Tell me more about X, Y, Z. Like, how would that help you?
Yeah.
And I'm just getting these aha moments from the client. It makes them feel empowered.
I could see that because people don't ask that when they're selling you something.
No, not
They don't
at
give
all.
a about you usually.
No, it's usually a numbers game. Without even meaning to do it, it's a numbers game.
Yeah. No, I like your approach way better because I'd rather buy something where I feel like the guy's a friend or I can just talk to like a homie
Yeah.
than someone I've never met and just pitching me on the first call.
That's exactly it. And people don't realize they're doing this high pressure thing because they've been taught for God knows how many years, 30, 40, 50 years, that this is how you sell. And then if this is how you sell, everything else becomes invisible to you because it's habitual.
Yeah.
You don't realize I'm doing the wrong things on the sales calls because I've been doing this for 30, 40 years or
Absolutely.
10 years.
What industries have you had the most success in?
Anything marketing or lead generation or personal development. Those three industries have been the biggest because they're very emotional.
Right.
Like it's a very emotional sell.
Yeah, because it can change their lives, right?
Yeah.
If they get their marketing in order, they get more leads, more money.
Yep. And if you use, so there's something I coined a while back, and I got a 5-year-old brain. So like anything I teach, it comes across as a 5-year-old so people can understand it better. But I call it piercing questions. And piercing questions, no matter the industry, like if you can come in there and you can pierce them below surface level, you'll start to get a lot better of an understanding of what's going on in their environment, in their life. A lot of times people will give you some sort of a surface level answer no matter what you ask. And salespeople just take that and run with it. Whatever their surface level answer is, I'm going to take that and run with it. When there's a whole story, a whole situation behind whatever they told you that we got to figure out. Insert piercing questions to find out what's going on with that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that you mentioned the 5-year-old brain too, because I used to watch Trump speeches and I would ask myself, why do these seem so basic? Like a 4th grader could understand these. So I look into it. I start finding these studies about like how it's more effective to talk like you're in 5th grade, and sales and revenue actually go up for email campaigns the simpler you talk. So I'm like, wow. Then I found this website where you input all your copy and it rewrites it to a 5th grade level.
I didn't know that there's so many things out there like that exist. That's crazy.
It's crazy, yeah.
But a research I did on that note was most people, stage talks or just conversations in general, usually speak on like a 3rd, 4th, 5th grade level. So the people that come in there and speak on a 10th grade, 12th grade level, using these big words and everything, or whatever the case is, it doesn't hit people in the heart or
It's
the
not
head.
as relatable to the masses.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So I had to tone back because I was unintentionally talking at a higher level. So now when I talk on podcasts, I try to tone it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like 5th grade is where you want it.
Yeah.
And it's really simple, but it seems weird at first too to talk like that. But you know,
and anything weird is back to the habitual situation. When you've been doing something for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, however old people are, anything outside of your habitual voice or your habitual questions, you get this weird feeling because you're not used to it. But once you start creating a new habitual voice, everything else seems weird.
Yeah.
At that point.
I love that. Have you tried selling from stage or in person or anything?
In person, a lot of live events.
Okay.
I've done that. Not outside of coaching industry in person much, but it's the same thing though. Like people want to feel felt.
Yeah.
They want to feel heard.
I noticed a lot of people want that.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to fit in school, and that transfers over to business, like wanting to fit in, you know? It's a common thing.
Well, have you ever been on a sales call or even a conversation in general, and you're talking to somebody and you can tell like there's something I want to say, like there's something I want to insert into the conversation, but the other person won't allow me a space to do that. And then you almost feel like you're unheard.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people do. A lot of people do
Facts.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Feeling unheard is such a common issue, man.
Yeah.
People don't know how to shut up.
Not at all. That's the empowerment I'm talking about. If we can lean into making that person feel empowered, everything else is just formality.
How teachable is this type of stuff? Like, have your students had success?
Massive. I've had probably about 200, 250 million
Damn.
in the past 4 or 5 years. I don't know the exact number, 4 or 5 years.
200 people make $1 million?
250 million collectively that
Oh.
my clients have enrolled in the past few years. Yeah.
That is 9 figures, man.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. But it all comes back to, like, we are literally just a human. It's not B2B. It's not B2C. It's H to H. Like, it's human to human interaction.
I love that.
If you start putting a title on it, you've lost the sale at that point.
You need to trademark that, man. That is
H to
a quote
H.
right there. H to H.
Write that down. Yeah, I'll do
no
that.
more B2B, B2C, all those annoying LinkedIn messages I get about that.
It's H to H, man. Yeah, you'll have way more success just having this type of conversation with somebody on a sales call, making them feel felt. You know,
Dude, I'd be getting spammed on like Instagram messages and LinkedIn and Facebook.
Yeah. And that's wasn't on my list to talk about, but that's another thing is on LinkedIn, any type of reach out. If you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're gonna get the same results, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing goes for sales conversations. But if you're doing the same message everyone else is doing, you're gonna get ghosted. If you're doing the same questions on sales calls, you're gonna get the same responses, which is usually a no, or let me think about it, or let me talk to my spouse.
Right.
Second you bring in novelty into the equation, you start getting different results.
Facts.
Yeah.
You got to do something different, whether it's on the product side or the way you talk, right?
Yep.
So that's why whenever I sell something, I'm like, all right, how can I make this the best product? out of all my competition.
Yeah.
No one else is offering what I'm offering.
They're not. They're not. And even further, like how could you not just the product, but how could you have the experience above anybody else's?
Right. Enhance that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing.
Yeah, with the group chat, I want my guests to network with as many people as possible. I want them to have an ROI, because if they don't see an ROI on the purchase, then I don't want to sell you it.
Yeah, and that's true.
Because I think you can make money ethically, and when you don't, karma's a bitch, man. Like
It will come back.
It'll catch up.
That's
So,
a real thing.
Yeah,
It'll
if you're
come
charging
back.
a high ticket, you better be able to justify it and show some results for people.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Like your sales calls you've been on, what's the worst, what's the best? Like the feeling you get on those calls?
The ones that I'm participating in as a customer,
Yeah.
I just hate when, like we said, it's like a script. Some of them are an hour, which is too long for me, dude.
Yep.
I think an hour is way too long. I don't know if my brain just thinks quick, but that's too long for me. Some of them don't give about me, and I could tell. I feel like they're just asking questions about the business, nothing about personal.
Yep.
I'm trying to think best. Best is pretty much what you're saying, man, where it feels personal, feels relatable, feels genuine.
Yeah.
Feels like an actual conversation. They're not reading off a script. Pricing makes sense. I feel like they're not overcharging. I feel like they have the testimonials. It just feels like there's friends of mine that use the service. Like, because these days there's so much distrust.
People come, thanks for saying that, because people come into sales calls with that distrust that it's already there. You're a salesperson. I already don't trust you.
Yeah.
Like it's just, I already hate you, but I need to buy this program. That's kind of the mindset. It's a little extreme, but that's the mindset a lot of people need to come into this to earn that trust on that. Because when people come into a sales call, the value is way down here and the price is already up here. So if at the end of the call, if they feel like you're the same person anybody else as they've talked to, that value doesn't raise. The price stays way up here and even gets higher because you're not building value. But you bring something in different, and all of a sudden, it's like the value raises and the price lowers.
Right.
Whenever you're making them feel empowered, you just happen to have a program that can help them.
Yeah, you got to
know?
meet or exceed their expectations.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they actually did a measure of trust levels. I don't know how the hell they measured it, but we're at a 40-year low in the world of trust right now.
Wow.
So the fact that you're killing it, man, is impressive.
I didn't know 40 years.
Yeah, I'll send you the article.
I'd like to see
I don't
that.
know how they did it, but it makes sense to me because there's a lot of scams going on. People are losing a ton of money with, stuff they're getting offered.
Yeah. And that makes sense too. And a lot of the trust comes from, I teach my clients this all the time, is like, act like you're having a beer with a friend, just chill. But at the end of the call, I've reviewed thousands of calls, and I've seen people at the end of the call pressure them into trying to buy right now. I need to talk to my spouse. Well, what do you need to talk to your spouse about? Or, well, what else is there you don't understand? Or whatever it is. We're trying to pressure them into buying right now. And what's happening in that situation is you, me, everyone has their own buyer's process in buying something, whether that's thinking about it for 24 hours or talking to my wife or, talking to the kitty cat, whatever it is, everyone has a process. And the second you get in the middle of that process, you've lost the sale. So at the end of the call, a lot of the trust comes from, great. Like, I think that's a great idea. Go talk to your kitty cat. Let's see what they have to say about everything. And just let them do their buyer's process. If you did the discovery part right and you made them feel empowered and you have that trust built, everything else is a formality at that point.
Right. I love that.
Yeah, follow-up game is just, it skyrockets
Easy.
when you do that. Yeah.
Yeah, too many people teach objective handling, and it's like at a certain point, how much NLP and like subconscious programming are you doing on the person?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And objections, I hate that word. I hate the word objections because in sales, people interpret objections as a rejection. So it's like objection means a rejection towards you somehow. And if we can reframe that into a concern, then it's simply helping them overcome whatever concern they have. And in the call, what I figured out is 99% of the concerns, objections people have can be overcome before it even becomes a concern or objection.
Yeah.
If you really listen and actively understand what's going on in the phone call.
Yeah, dude, I was on one call and the guy would not let me leave. It was actually hilarious. We were past time. And I had to go. Like, I was filming podcasts.
Yeah.
I had to hop in the shower in like 2 minutes and go. And he wouldn't let me leave.
Sean, even if you wanted that program, what's the feeling?
Yeah,
like the
it just
feeling's
felt
like
horrible.
Yeah. Even if I wanted this thing, you made me feel so bad that I'm not gonna buy it from you.
Yeah. And then he texted me like 7 times after that. I'm like, what the f-? It just seemed desperate.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a
I don't
big
like
problem.
when I see desperation in a salesperson. I get it because they're commission based.
Yeah.
So I get where they're coming from. But to me as a buyer, it just seems kind of desperate.
Yeah. And that's where the whole value scale, the value doesn't raise when someone feels desperate.
Yeah.
It's just a number at that point.
Absolutely. What's kind of your goals for this year, next year?
Man, this year I'm going in pretty hard on a whole new program that I'm putting together, actually. A whole new program on tonality and voice, just how you come across on the phone call with people. It's gonna be pretty cool. I'm excited about that coming out.
Dude,
Yeah.
I need to listen to some of your calls because you're doing something I've never heard of.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. But it is different. It feels different. It looks different. It is different. It's natural.
What do you think about AI trying to replace some of these calls?
No, it'll never happen, dude.
You don't think so?
No, not in my opinion, it'll never happen because AI won't be able to read. I call it read in between the script. Whatever the question is, there's something else behind that question that AI can't ask the right questions to get into that person's brain to connect with them.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. But now there's AI where you can import all your conversations and it can train the model to talk like that. So it might get to that point eventually.
It could. I'd be interested to see how far it gets.
I was at Damon John's mastermind last week, and this guy named Roland Frazier and Perry Belcher were giving a demo. They have their AI call 1,000 people a day trying to buy their businesses. And dude, it was responding to its questions. I was like really impressed.
Yeah.
It was like, when are you looking to sell? The guy would be like 4 months. He's like, okay, do you have an estimated price range you want to sell for? The guy would be like, no, let me talk to my wife. The AI would say, I understand. Can I call you back on this date?
So here's why, that's amazing, but here's why I could never replace it, at least the way I teach it, is why 4 months? Like, what's going on in between now and 4 months to make you want to wait 4 months to whatever the situation was? I want to find out that, because that 4 months could be the differentiator of making the sell or not making the sell. So that it's called a piercing question, but asking a piercing question like, well, tell me what's going on, Sean, between now and 4 months to make you want to wait 4 months, just so I understand, because I want to make sure I'm clear. Oh, well, there's XYZ going on and this and that, and there's a whole conversation behind that AI wouldn't be able to unlock yet.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think it'll be for some time, but it's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
It is pretty interesting.
I did hear a call, though. I heard some Instagram ad. I heard a call of AI doing one.
Yeah.
It blew my mind. It was
mind.
laughing on the call. The
No
AI was
way.
laughing on the call.
Holy crap. That's actually scary.
Yeah, it was crazy.
AI is going to take over, man. I think Terminator, we're going to have to rewatch those movies.
It's coming to life.
Skynet is coming, man. It is. It's definitely coming, and hopefully our kids will deal with that problem and not us.
Yeah, or sooner.
There's always new generational problems. People thought we would ruin everything with social media, but I think there's worse things.
There's worse things.
Are you passionate about sales as you are with anything else?
Yeah, I would say sales. No, sales is a bad word. Communication is probably my biggest passion in life. It's just helping people communicate in a different way.
Did you have a psychology major in college?
No, my journey is completely different on that. Completely different. So I went to high school, didn't go to college, went straight into a job that my dad had ready for me after high school, which was in the pest control industry.
Okay. So he owned it?
Yeah, he owned that part of it. But after about 15 years of doing that and kind of leveling up all the way to as high as I can possibly get, I realized like psychology is fun. Like it's a passion of mine, but I didn't want to go to college. I wanted to like go to the hard knocks life of it. So Sean, I'd be that crazy guy like in the background, just sitting there observing, like watching you and someone else talk. Like you say it was weird. You would say this person responded this way. Like, that's interesting. Or you said this person didn't like it or gave this weird facial expression. That's interesting. So I did that for like 6 months until I finally just put things together and started implementing my sales calls. And then I invested into body language, neurolinguistics, psychology at all levels, some government secret influence type of situations.
Wow.
Anything I can get my hands on non-sales related that I can regurgitate into how people communicate.
That is fascinating. Yeah, those government interrogations, like the good cop, bad cop stuff, that's really interesting.
Incredible.
Right?
Actually, Chase Hughes was a big one I invested into for nonverbal communication, which he, if memory serves him right, he was one of the interrogators for CIA and stuff like that. But he has a whole process on reading people's body language, how they're sitting, what they're doing, clusters.
Wow.
You can literally see things that no one else can see.
I had Chris Voss on, and I was being very aware of my body language when I had him on and the way I was talking.
Yeah, experts like that, like they get it. But if you can get that stuff and just take little golden nuggets, put them on a Zoom call, you can still see certain things that no one else can see.
Yeah. I'm happy to hear you're taking classes of other industries because I'm actually doing that now too. So I'm taking media training to learn the celebrity side of things. I'm considering taking acting classes to learn body language. And I feel like too many people kind of take classes in one thing, like whether it's sales, marketing, training, but they don't expand past that. Yeah.
And the recent one I invested in about a year and a half ago or so was like voice, like tonality type of stuff. And it blew my mind how influential your voice is. And we just don't realize it. Like most people speak on one key.
Yeah.
I call it the 88 key analogy, but you got a piano that has 88 keys. And most people usually speak on one key the entire time. And if you can use your voice like a musical instrument and you're kind of going up and down with everything, it creates a lot of engagement. Like just stuff like that blew my mind.
I'm going to need to take that as a podcast. So definitely send me that one. I never even thought about that.
It's incredible. And it made me realize it's not the program that sells. It's not the service that sells. It's not the company that sells. It's how well you can communicate what you do to that person that sells. But that could be manipulated wrong because I could have a horrible program, but I can communicate really, really well.
Yeah.
But if you can combine all those things, like I have an amazing program. If I can communicate that real well, those things just add up to exploding.
Right. That's something sales guys do have to be aware of, the bad products, right? And the bad services, because you could get caught up selling automation stores and then you're in a lawsuit. So you got to do your due diligence.
I have been in those industries, the e-com world and the drop shipping, like I've been in all those industries, and it scares me because there's a lot of bad rap around those things.
Yeah, you got to really do your research because even though you could be making big commissions, take a look at the refund rate, chargebacks, and all that. Yeah, reviews.
Yep, and that's the chargeback dude. Chargebacks and refunds was one of the biggest reasons I got into creating my own process on sales. I used to I was a horrible salesperson when I first started. Like, whatever you're thinking of is accurate. Horrible, horrible salesperson. I got chargebacks every single day.
Damn.
Every day. And I remember thinking, like, you know what? I got to figure out a way to get rid of these chargebacks and like not get so many refunds. How can I do that? And it all came back to the actual phone call itself. How do I make someone feel empowered, make someone feel like they're making the right decision? Chargebacks are non-existent anymore. After that,
yeah, I haven't had a single one in like 2 years, dude.
Yeah, it changes the business.
I used to get them honestly every day too when I was in e-commerce dropshipping.
Yeah,
and you really got to take a look at yourself and say, are you going to end up on the match list and never have a payment processor again? Or are you going to fix this?
Right.
You know,
Make
'cause
you
I know
look at
people on the
yourself.
match list.
Yeah.
They can't ever have a payment processing account.
Yep. We don't want that.
Yeah, you definitely don't want that. There's a lot of people on it that have no idea they're on it.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. There's a process I teach that you said a while ago, like you spend like an hour on a sales call. There's a process I teach to get someone on and off a sales call within about 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hello to enrollment within 30 minutes or so. And I put that to the test, and I bet someone $1,000. I said, listen, if you do this and don't get the sell at the end of this call, I'll give you $1,000.
Wow.
He finished the call in 15 minutes and got a $7,100 sell. He just texted me the other day.
Damn.
Got a $7,100 sell in 15 minutes, just following the process.
That is impressive, man.
Yeah.
So people watching this that have a product and want to partner with you, what's that process like?
It's pretty easy. Find me on Instagram. Find me on Facebook. I'm all over the place. Just message me. I don't work with anybody. I got to make sure there's synergy. I got to make sure people are coachable. I got to make sure you're used to or you want unorthodox ways of communicating. There's a little qualification process, but if all stars aligned, then we would work together.
Yeah, we're going to talk after this for sure.
Yeah.
I think I'm interested for myself, but that was a very insightful episode, man. Anything you want to promote or close off with?
No, just find me on Instagram, find me on Facebook. If I can help, I'll help. If not, I'll point you in the right direction.
Cool.
Just
we'll link it below, man.
Yeah.
Any events you're speaking at coming up?
Got one in May. Clients and Community. You ever heard of them?
I think so, actually.
They're the Facebook group people.
Okay.
Teach people how to promote things on Facebook group. I'll be at their event in Arizona speaking on stage.
Cool. We'll link that below too. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you, man.
Of course. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.